Hello all, I'm Scarp SCS, but that's not important right now, as in this episode of Cogs, Gears and Optic Sensors, we are taking a look at Marvel US's Transformers number 5 from the March of 1985, which was the first issue of the now ongoing and the first issue with Bob Budiansky on full-time writing duties, where he would plot the adventures of the Cybertronians out for the next 4 years. Little to nothing needs to be said about this classic cover from Mark Bright, featuring Shockwave and that legendary piece of text that accompanies it, which has been homaged countless times both in and out of the franchise alike, and is the first thing many of us do when we pick up a Shockwave figure. And yes, that last image was a bit of shameless self-promotion for my social media feeds. But enough about me, as we get to our initial piece of trivia on our first couple of pages, as Shockwave is monitoring the Earth TV broadcasts and comes across the classic 1950s sitcom The Honeymooners, which wasn't really a thing here in England and was switched out by Marvel UK for a publicity still from the sci-fi series V, which was far more recognisable to their domestic audience and had been a rating success for ITV. However, the broadcast that Shockwave is most interested in is the one featuring GB Blackrock and a still very optimistic Josie Bella, as they showcase the most advanced oil rig on the planet, which leads our lead character to dismiss out of hand and conclude that the Earth will be easy pickings if that's the best they've got to offer technologically. As we move on to this splash page though, we get a demo of just how powerful position he's now in, with the Autobot hero strung up in various states of disrepair and some somewhat questionable deco choices by Nel Yomtov, after having had a mountain fall in on them, and a further hint of his grand master plan as we see him repairing the core cast of the Decepticon roster from their injuries sustained by loading up on the poisoned fuel, courtesy of Sparkplug Witwicky. The big reveal though is that Decepticon leader Megatron is plugged into what is purported to be a repair device, which, as the dialogue reveals, suits Shockwave and his logic board, as Megatron still seems to think he somehow retains command, even from a position of disadvantage, as he recounts events to date to bring both new readers and the new commander up to speed with these few panels of exposition, culminating in the climactic end of issue number 4. Shockwave, though, is distinctly unimpressed with the current state of affairs and chooses to demonstrate why he is now in command on one of the helpless Autobot captives. And I'm afraid you're just going to have to trust me that the blue and red one is Sunstreaker, who is damaged so badly by Shockwave he doesn't appear again until the background cast of Marvel US's issue number 41. At the hospital where Sparkplug is being treated though, Buster is casually looking for a giant transforming alien robot in an area close to the public, and as he is challenged by some paramedics, Ratchet arrives to explain away his absence, having been providing medical aid elsewhere, leaving the confused medics thinking they are being played MTV punk style, only for Ratchet to lose his patience, and thankfully not his patience, after being prodded and poked every which way and scatter them in all directions. Buster talks Ratchet into letting him in on the return trip to the Ark so as not to arouse suspicion while the Autobot medic is driverless, but given what he's been through recently as he breaks the news to his dad, Sparkplug wants Buster to cut all ties with the Autobots for his own safety. Probably just as well Spike isn't visiting him at this point too, otherwise it might send him into a further relapse. Back at the Ark though, and a somewhat incensed Megatron tries to find out more about Shockwave's absence for the last 4 million years, but not wishing to disclose anything that may be used to compromise him, Shockwave declines and has some of our Autobot heroes removed by his now minions, and reveals that his aim is to have them dismantled for spare parts, and our first mention of the creation matrix, which will become central to almost every iteration of the franchise, although pitched here as a computer program and not the physical item that we know today. It comes as no surprise though that global domination is Shockwave's ultimate goal as he jets off through the sky, still in his space gone alt mode, in a manner that I'm interpreting as his logic circuits felt an Earth mode would hinder him, wasn't worth his time and effort to get one, and Transformers are well and truly known on their presence on Earth anyway. Buster, though, is trying to teach Ratchet the nuances of the highway code and that machines on Earth don't quite work like you think they does. I mean, imagine if there really was a traffic light transformer.
Destiny is calling and I must answer. Oh, that I could be so bold.
Transform! For too long I've let life pass me by. Now I want to take part in that grand drama. My legacy will be writ large among the stars.
But as they arrive at Mount St. Hilary, not knowing what they'll find, Buster tempts fate by proclaiming that nobody can beat Optimus. Now sadly, I think both the Witwickies are set for some disappointment as the series goes on, let alone just this issue. The pair avoid detection by Frumble, and as Ratchet transforms so he can gain entry to the craft, Buster persuades him that his smaller form is far better suited to the type of sneaking around required, and as he makes his way through he encounters, much to his shock, the strung up Carbots, and on the final page, nothing other than the still conscious yet decapitated head of Optimus Prime, who proclaims Buster as the Autobots' last hope. We aren't done here though, as the Optimus head finally got a reference in the 2024 Generations toy line, and we should absolutely highlight the UK covers from the July of 1985, with issue 22 using the USA artwork and issue 23 by returning artist John Ridgway, showcasing Buster in the final pages of the issue. So that's it for the first Bob Budiansky written issue of Transformers, and the way it sets up plenty of aspects of Marvel lore. Let me know in the comments when you first read it, and as always, if you like this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. If you didn't like it, you can still leave one anyway. If you want to come and say hi on social media, you can find me here. So thanks for watching along folks, and above all, stay safe.